You're on.
Please, I won't start without you. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the City Council meeting. Today is Monday, August 19th, 2024. It's approximately 1 p.m. I'm Mayor Enriquez, and before we start, I want to mention that we have the ASL interpreter available for our council meetings, and she will be at the front for anyone who requires interpretation. We'll start with a moment of silence for the brave men and women of the United States Armed Forces as they protect our interests around the globe, as well as the courageous men and women of the Las Cruces Police and Fire Department that keep our city safe 24/7, 365. Now, Councilor Graham, if you'll lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, thank you. We'll start with the presentation of Certificate of Appreciation Proclamations. Councilor Graham.
Thank you so much. Do we have anyone here representing the Las Cruces Space Festival? Please come on down. Hi. Thank you so much. The proclamation reads, whereas the City of Las Cruces recognizes and celebrates the past, present, and future of the space industry and its impact on the lives, community, and the economy of Las Cruces and southern New Mexico area, and whereas the Las Cruces Space Festival, to celebrate space-related activity and interest held annually since 2018, will be from Friday, September 6th, 2024, through Saturday, September 14th, 2024, commemorating the 13th anniversary of NASA's Space Shuttle Mission 128, launched on August 28, 2009, and returned to Earth on September 11, 2009, and NASA's International Observe the Moon Night on Saturday, September 14, 2024, and whereas the Las Cruces Space Festival is a collaborative, cross-community effort to provide free, family-friendly education and entertainment events across multiple locations in our city, and whereas Space Week, Making Space for Everyone, shall be a time of celebration, raising awareness as it pertains to the space activity in southern New Mexico and how New Mexico's space achievements impact the world, and whereas the City of Las Cruces shall declare the week of September 6th, 2024 through September 14th, 2024 as Space Week and encourages all citizens, young and old, to explore and participate in the free Las Cruces Space Festival activities. Now, therefore, we, the Mayor and City Council of Las Cruces, New Mexico, do hereby proclaim the week of Friday, September 6th, 2024 through Saturday, September 14th, 2024 as Las Cruces Space Festival Week, signed by our Mayor, Eric Enriquez, and attested by Christine Rivera, our City Clerk.
Hello, my name is Ronnie Bush, and I'm on the board of the Space Festival and also work for Spaceport America. And we are just so excited. This is our 6th annual Space Festival. We have a lot of activities going from September 6th through September 14th. So we want to make sure that you come to our website, which is just LasCrucesSpaceFestival.com. Oh, I'm sorry, lcspacefestival.com, and check out all the different activities. We have everything. We have a NASA astronaut, Nicole Stott, coming, and in fact, on Saturday, September 7th, she'll be in this very room at 2 o'clock giving a presentation. Also on that Sunday, we have an open house out at the spaceport. So there's just a lot of activities between the 6th and the 14th, and we hope that you can all participate. Okay. That's it.
Thank you.
Yes, that would be great. Okay.
Hold it. I'll hold it. Thank you, Councilor Graham. Next, jobs of the week. Do we have Sarah Rainey? Oh, here she comes.
Good afternoon. All right, my name is Sarah Rainey. I am the one-stop coordinator for the Southwest region of the New Mexico workforce. And for jobs of the week, we have, for the city of Las Cruces, we have a budget analyst 1. That position starts at $53,000 and posting closes on the 2nd of September. We also have a customer service representative 1 for the city, and then that one pays $15.57 an hour, and the posting closes on the 26th. For White Sands Missile Range, we have a commissary stalker. This position is actually through Tresco, but located out at the range. It starts at $17.20 an hour, and the posting closes on the 8th. We have, for Oxygen Therapy Associates, we have respiratory therapist nurse. That posting closes on the 11th of September. For Frito-Lay, we have a detailer that is $16.45 an hour, and the posting closes on September 9th. And then we have a neuroradiologist at the Imaging Associates of New Mexico that starts at $52,000, and the posting closes on the 8th. I wanted to, for this month's spotlight for our programs, I wanted to bring out the veteran services. Our employment-related services are available to veterans and their family members, including matching military skills and experiences to civilian careers, searching for jobs in the local areas across the U.S., and accessing other benefits. At our local career fairs and some of our other events that we do veteran priorities. So a lot of times, like for our upcoming career fair, we usually host the first 30 minutes to an hour, depending on how long the event is. We'll do veteran priorities where they can come in first and have kind of first dibs to all the employers there or the services that we have going on. So we like to do that veteran priority in a lot of our local events. The local DVOP team, our local veteran team, is actually comprised of veterans themselves. So they come with a vast knowledge of what these veterans have gone through, what their trail entails in the future, what their needs are. So they're coming with a vast experience and camaraderie, honestly. They do really well with making matches with the veterans in our program and helping them in their careers. So I just want to encourage any veterans out there, please come stop by and talk with our veteran services. They're there to support you. They're there throughout our region, but definitely here in our Las Cruces office. So come down and see us. And as always, we're down at 226 South Alameda Boulevard. Find us on all the social medias. So we're here from 8 to 6 every day. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sarah. Next, we have Pets of the Week, Amy DeFelix.
Hello, everyone. I'm Amy DeFelix, one of the rescue coordinators with the Animal Services Center of the Mesilla Valley. I pick and present the Pets of the Week every week. And we always start off with our Cat of the Week, who is Burberry this week. Her number is 78127, and she says, "This shelter is my home for now, but I'm hoping I'll find a forever home soon. My days are filled with exploration and play. I'm quite the curious one. What I cherish most is the sweet moments of affection with the humans here. A gentle stroke on my back or a kind word can make my day. I'm not just a cat. I'm a companion, a friend, a family member." And then our Dog of the Week is Angel. Her number is 69609, and she says, I've got a heart full of love and a spirit that's eager to play. I've got a lot of energy. I'm always ready for a new adventure. I've grown up at the ASCMV, so I'm always excited to see and smell new things. I'm friendly with everyone I meet, and I promise to make every day brighter with my joyful spirit. I'm ready to find my forever home where I can share all the love and happiness I have to offer. And regarding adoption events, we will be at Petco this Saturday the 24th. We will be there from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. In case you need the address, that is 3050 East Lowman Avenue. Other events, we are participating in the National Clear the Shelters. We started on August 10th, and it's going to go on until September 10th. And for the entirety of this event, all of our adoptions are only $50. So we highly encourage you to join us in participating in Clear the Shelters and help get our homeless dogs and cats their forever homes. And here are all of our internet links. Our general website is ascmv.org. We're all over social media. Facebook and Instagram and TikTok is where we'll post pet highlights and upcoming events. And then YouTube and Spotify and Apple Podcasts is where we host our Tales from the Paw Side, the ASCMV podcast. And that is all I have. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Amy. Next is a conflict of interest. Does any member of the city council, city manager, or any member of the city staff have any known conflict of interest with any item on the agenda?
None by Flores.
None. Corin.
None, Graham.
None.
Next is our public participation. Will allow up to 3 minutes, no pending litigation or items that are on the non-consent. If you want to come forward, and Katerina will usher you to the podium.
Bob Butler, Las Cruces. My opening statement is I'm voting for you, Honorable Mayor Eric. And Bill Matisse knows that he had my vote always. I'm very supportive of the police and fire department. My body. I went to New Mexico Family Services in Presidio Mall off of Telshore on Missouri, across from the National Republican headquarters of Donna Ana County. I met a real nice lady there, and she told me that she felt or thought our chief of police was immature. I immediately agreed with her. I was surprised. Then I told her she would make a very good United States Senator. To close, Mark Heinrich Rich is in trouble. I do not believe the National Link of Women Voters will approve another Pete Domenici in public office at this time, coming out of Loretto Mall. New Mexico is going up. Thank you, Eric.
Hello, Mayor and City Council. I'm Susan Greenwall Cabello, Executive Director of Downtown Las Cruces Partnership. I would like to first say that we have some exciting things happening downtown. Smoky Sensations, the barbecue place, has opened right across the street from us. We have 2 salons opening within this week, and Chachi's says that they are close. So lots of movement downtown. What I'd like to ask your help with today is we are having a merchants meeting with Film Las Cruces. We are trying to get all of our merchants to sign up on Film Las Cruces vendor list. Vendor list means that if a film production is in town, they try to source things locally. If businesses are on that list, then they are kind of the first go-tos. So I've sent everyone the press release. I will be going door to door to our businesses here in the next few days to ask them to join us for that. It is going to be on Thursday, September the 5th from 5:30 to 6:30 with Film Las Cruces. That will also be recorded, so we'll be able to put it on our website as well if people can't make that meeting. So I have 100 spaces available. Right now I have 9 people signed up. I would like to get that closer to the 90-something range by September 5th. So thank you for your help in getting this message out. Thank you for all that you do.
Thank you, Susan.
Good morning. My name's Jim Hurst. Reading from the New Mexico Constitution, Article 2, Section 11. No person shall be required to attend any place of worship or support any religious sect or denomination, nor shall any preference be given by law to any religious denomination or mode of worship. End quote. No person shall be required to support any religious sect or denomination. On May 2nd this year, an assembly was held in honor of National Day of Prayer. It was not on the city calendar. It was not approved by City Council. As far as I'm able to determine, apart from my comments to this City Council, there is no record of the event. Mayor's staff has informed me that it was a private meeting, therefore no documentation is required. No, Mr. Mayor, with all due respect, it was not a private meeting. Typically, private meetings are held in places not open to the general public. This assembly was held at the front of the City Hall at noon. Typically, private meetings are not open to the general public. This assembly was open to everyone. I was there. Typically, private meetings don't require city security guards. This one had 2. Typically, private meetings don't use a public address system, so the general public can hear what's being said. And they don't have amplified instruments, so everybody can sing along. And finally, private events are usually not advertised to the general public. This one was. Mr. Mayor, this was not a private meeting. It was a religious service. You participated in it, and apparently you authorized it. I think that Police Chief Story will back me on this point. When a suspect lies to you, it means they have something to hide. What are you trying to hide, Mr. Mayor? Perhaps you are aware that what you were doing was unconstitutional. Perhaps you decided to do it anyway. Constitution be damned. Mr. Mayor, you have no right to authorize City Hall for public religious services. To do so constitutes a burden on the citizens of this community and by implication, a requirement that citizens support religion. Consider the words of the Constitution again. No person shall be required to attend any place of worship or support any religious sect or denomination. Thank you.
Mayor and Council, Juan Garcia. I want to recognize the exceptional work of our city staff. The staff has been instrumental in helping us navigate often complex issues, leading members of CCIA to a greater understanding and ultimately positive change that benefits our entire community. A recent meeting with Natalie and Jan on housing issues was a perfect example of their excellence. I arrived with preconceived notions, but Natalie's remarkable expertise and clear explanations gave me a completely new and enlightened perspective. The same goes for Chris, Ms. Delgado, and Ms. Bencomo, and of course, Chief Story. Their willingness to clarify important issues is a testament to the extraordinary caliber of our city staff. I also want to extend special and well-deserved recognition to Katrina. Her consistent support and readiness to assist have been invaluable. Her commitment to the community shines through into everything she does with dedication and passion. The recent developments, different subject. The recent developments at MMC have generated substantial local controversy. Community advocate Yoli Diaz escalated concerns to the New Mexico AG after reportedly being dismissed by local and county officials. While a complete understanding of the situation requires further investigation, here are my comments. Allegations suggest around 2015, MMC discontinued outpatient oncology and chemo services. It's crucial to comprehend why such a decision. Equally concerning is the potential lack of oversight from city and county representatives attending joint meetings. The public deserves access to minutes, agendas, and reports that could clarify the situation. Who possesses these documents, and what actions were taken in response to the decision? The accountable government entity must address these questions. The hospital's corporate ownership has been criticized for profits in healthcare. We expect experienced medical staff and administrators to manage these complex operations effectively, which requires competitive compensation to attract and retain talent, yet we demand that hospitals like MMC ensure access to care for those unable to afford it. Costs are inevitable. Someone must absorb them. It's unrealistic to expect both nonprofit operations and unrestricted access. The situation underscores the need for healthcare models balancing access, quality, and financial sustainability. This controversy at MMC warrants through investigation to determine the facts, assess accountability, and develop solutions ensuring such situations are prevented in the future. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Mayor, City Council. My name is Lucas Herndon. I'm a resident in District 2. I am here to try to be proactive under this new spirit of such concern over public safety. As that term has been thrown around for the last few months, in the last 2 weeks, I've been driving around our city and noticing some of the things that what I think people are talking about when they think of public safety, which is to say people walking around, pedestrians, people moving around. My assumption is that people are making their assumptions about what those people are doing. I don't know what they're doing, just like people don't know what I'm doing when I'm driving around. But what I have noticed is that this is not a great place for people to walk around. We are not a pedestrian-friendly city. In my own neighborhood along Locust, there is an entire mile-long section of sidewalk that is obstructed with utility poles and unusable to anybody using a walker or a wheelchair or pulling a wagon. Or for kids riding their bikes. And yes, there are bike lanes on Locust, but they are frequently clogged up with trash and trash bins because that's where the apartments are instructed to put their trash bins on trash day. And whether that's up to the resident or the apartment manager or the city, those are issues in conflict with utilizing those bicycle lanes, which means people have to ride on the sidewalks, but they can't because there are utility poles. Additionally, there are large stretches of road in our town between intersections that have no protected way to cross. I live near the university. The students are returning this weekend, and I have already stopped frequently as people utilize the pedestrian crossing areas that have been installed along university that have flashing lights, and but are not affiliated with car crossings. It's clear because of that and because of things like school crossings that we do have some level of care for some people to be able to cross the street safely. So when we talk about pedestrian safety, I I feel like there's a lot this city could do to ensure that everybody is safe if they choose to walk or ride a bike or do anything other than drive a car. So as we continue to talk about public safety, I greatly encourage this body to look into how they can help. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Council, Mayor, staff, distinguished chief. My name is Eddie Thomas, and the reason I'm here is because I want to bring to your attention there is a situation in my neighborhood, and it happens to be in your district, Mayor Pro Tem. There was a recent issue with power outages caused by sheets of metal roofing that flew during a windstorm onto the power lines and knocked out the power 3 times. And not only did it cause us an inconvenience, the house is in very poor repair. The elderly man that lives there, I don't know if he has any family or what his family situation is, but there are gaping holes in his roof. Right now, they're currently covered by tarp that I think were nailed down by his other neighbor. Anyway, I call this to your attention, Mayor Pro Tem, because it is your district, okay? Something, at the very least, a safety check, a safety visit should be conducted to see how this man is getting along, to see if he has any family. The other issues I have with that is that the streets they look like graham crackers that were stepped on, okay? When are we going to do something about that? I'm also the one that sent you, both of you, Mayor and Mayor Pro Tem, pictures of the flooding situation at my house, my across the street neighbor, and my surrounding neighbors, because I'm at the lowest portion of Calle del Encanto. Every time it rains, it ponds there, okay? After a few days, the water stinks, tadpoles form, mosquitoes form. It's not a good situation. It's apparent by your last email communication, Mayor Pro Tem, that I don't know that you have any intentions of ever doing anything about it. I know there's some projects in the winds. Okay, well, you can respond to me and let me know what's in the works, okay? I've done some investigation myself, but at the very least, send a street sweeper so that they can at least clean up the residue, the debris that forms there. Something needs to be done. Okay, my time ran out, but I was going to bring to your attention the horrendous abortion clinic that's going up. Some of that money could have well been spent on mental illness clinics.
Mr. Thompson, can you leave the address with the city clerk on that house that you're talking about, the roof? Could you?
I'll Google it and send it to you, or I can just tell you it's at the corner of Avenida Blanco and Calle del Sol.
Okay, thank you.
Hello, Council and Mayor. My name is Aaron Kaiser. I've been a resident here since 2020. I am here hoping for maybe some type of commentary from the City Council or the Mayor to the city for clarification on the ordinance for the shopping carts here in the city. There seems to be a lot of confusion on what it is, what it means, how we are going to go forward with it, and also does it fully offer the dignity that some of our people here in Las Cruces should have, even though all their belongings do fit within a shopping cart. have a lot of concern about how we are going to retrieve property for people that do not live here in Las Cruces. There's people here that are working for companies that are far, far away from us, but are my son and daughter going to be asked to put themselves in a position to retrieve something that does not belong to them, but to the company they work for? And what risk happens whenever they do go out to retrieve that property that possibly the businesses do send them out to retrieve, to be a part of the job that they have at a company here in town? I think maybe some amendments might be in order to this ordinance. We do need to make sure that we're protecting all citizens here in Las Cruces and doing the best we can for not just the taxpayers of the community, but those who the taxpayers support in this community. I am not looking for one way or the other, but there is a best way forward for this community, and I'm not sure that's been properly spoken of. I'm new to this kind of arena. Maybe I will be here more. I feel guilty that I do not have more information and I'm not a bigger part of this community. And so maybe going forward, I am here more. But I would just ask that you consider some type of amendment or just some type of campaign to let us know what the ordinance means, how we're going to do it going forward. Are we going to be putting employees that are here at residents of the city as well in danger trying to get property? Are we asking them to confront people? What if there is nobody with the cart, then they go out and then someone says the cart is theirs? What happens in that moment? Are we asking citizens to do things that possibly law enforcement should be doing? And are we putting anybody at risk that wasn't at risk before because of the ordinance? And so whether that is better communication to what it is, I know that I spent a great amount of time trying to figure out what the ordinance was. I can't find the verbiage anywhere outside of just a little bit of information that you can find through articles that are available online, and I'm not going to trust Facebook for what the facts are on what's happening. But I would ask that there is some type of communication to the community to let us know exactly what it means, what it's for, how it's going to be fulfilled, and possibly if there is a need for some amendments to the ordinance of the city for the shopping cart issue that we do have here in the city. Thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you. Next, that concludes our public participation. I'll read a closed meeting statement for August 5th and August 12th. The City of Las Cruces City Council met in closed session at 11:03 a.m. on August 5th. The following members were in attendance: Mayor Enriquez, Councilor McClure, Councilor Graham, Mayor Pro Tem Bencomo, Councilor Coran, and Councilor Flores. Staff were Adrian Widmer, Sonia Delgado, Christine Rivera, Barbara Bencomo, Dominique Rodriguez, Brad Douglas, J.C. Borrego, Melissa Westbrook, and Ikani Tamupayao. We also met with the Utility Board: Harry Johnson, Ed Archuleta, John McElroy, Phil Simpson, Beth Broadwell, outside counsel Jay Steen, and James Brockman. The Las Cruces City Council met. The purpose of the closed meeting is to discuss pending or threatened litigation regarding Texas versus New Mexico and Colorado, original number 141, which is closed pursuant to New Mexico State Statute 1978, Section 10-15-1H7. The meeting adjourned at 12:22 p.m. Council also met on August 12th at 10:08 a.m., and the following members were present: Mayor Enriquez, Councilor McClure, Councilor Graham, Mayor Pro Tem Bencomo, Councilor Coran, Councilor Flores. Staff: Brad Douglas, Barbara Bencomo, J.C. Borrego, Sonia Delgado, Jeremy Story, Ikani Tamopayao, Christine Rivera. Leanne DeMuch arrived at 11:22. Outside counsel: Taylor Rao, Louis Robles, and Bonnie DeWitt. The purpose of the meeting was to discuss pending litigation regarding Francisco Estrada versus City of Las Cruces, which is closed pursuant to the state statute 1978, and to discuss pending litigation regarding the estate of Teresa Gomez versus the City of Las Cruces, which is also closed pursuant to New Mexico State Statute 1978. Next, I'll ask for acceptance of agenda.
Move to approve, Graham.
Second, Corin.
This is on the motion to accept the agenda as presented. Councilor McClure?
Yes.
Councilor Matisse?
Yes.
Councilor Graham?
Yes.
Councilor Cran?
Yes.
Councilor Flores?
Yes.
Councilor Bencomo? Yes. And Mayor?
Yes. Next will be the resolutions and/or ordinances for discussion. We'll start with Resolution 8.1, Resolution number 25-020.
Point of order. The resolutions for the consent agenda, don't we? I beg your pardon?
Councilor Flores, those are approved as part of acceptance of the agenda.
Oh, they were approved?
Yes.
Oh, by the meeting you guys have? Okay, thanks.
Move to approve. Second, Graham. Is that where we were? Okay.
Good
Okay,
afternoon.
Joe, go ahead.
Good afternoon, Mayor, Councilor, City staff, and public. My name is Joe Padilla, Budget Analyst with the City of Las Cruces. Today, I'm bringing forth a resolution to accept various grants for the city. The United States Department of Agriculture awarded the Utilities Department $400,000 with a $100,000 match to launch a food recycling pilot program called Curb Your Waste. The program will help increase the amount of food that is collected and composted, reducing the amount of food waste that ends up in our landfills. The program will first target food waste from local schools in our community. The compost will then be provided at no cost to Las Cruces residents to use in their own yards and gardens. The high-intensity drug trafficking area program was awarded a net amount of around $30,000 through 2 modifications. New Mexico had to issue these 2 modifications to adjust the funds needed to complete ongoing operations. Overall, these 2 modifications have increased funding for services, supplies, and overtime pay, and decreased funding for personnel and fringe pay. The high-intensity drug trafficking area program was awarded about $728,000. This funding is to be used for staff salaries, benefits, facilities, equipment, supplies, and administrative costs. This is funding for the new HIDA grant. Before you are your council options, and I stand for questions.
Thank you, Joe.
Yes,
Any
sir.
questions by council? Councilor Flores?
Did you just report on 8.1? Is that what you
Yes, ma'am.
presented? So I just want to make sure I'm just, whatever.
No, yes, ma'am, 8.1.
Well, thank you for your presentation, but I do have some questions.
Sure.
It says, it's very general in my humble opinion. Awards for various city departments through an amendment to the city's adopted FY 2025 budget. So there is an amendment that exists already?
In regards to 8.1, ma'am, we're bringing in grant awards to the city. The 3 that were in question were the Curb Your Waste program, the New Mexico HIDA modifications, and the New Mexico HIDA grant. So we're just amending the budget to bring in grant award funding.
Oh, I see.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Seeing no other questions, any member of the public that would like to speak to this item? Seeing none, Christine? Oh, I'm sorry, ma'am. You need to come forward.
Good afternoon. My name is Gloria Molina, and I just wanted to ask you, because I just barely had a chance to walk in, and you had kind of stopped at, I wasn't sure what you were talking about, and I'm looking for it, but something that the residents are welcome to use. What was it that you were talking about? That's all.
No worries. So it is for a Curb Your Waste food program. So what happens is our utilities department is going ahead and start a new program, and they'll be allowing compost to the residents at no cost. So they're going to start with the schools. They'll start trying to get a lot of the food out of the landfills and start turning it into compost.
Okay. Oh, sounds good.
Yes, ma'am.
And I was interested in that because I'm a public housing resident from Mesilla Valley Public Housing, and we just finished meeting for over a year with the City of Las Cruces Water Conservation to try to get mulch in that area to kind of, and I thought, so thank you for allowing me some time.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Okay, thank you, Joe. Christine?
This is on the motion to approve Resolution 25-020. Counselor McClure?
Yes.
Counselor Matisse?
Yes.
Counselor Graham?
Yes.
Counselor Coran?
Yes.
Counselor Flores?
Yes.
Counselor Bencomo?
Yes.
And Mayor?
Yes. Next is 8.2, Resolution Number 25-021.
Move to approve, Graham.
Second, Corin.
Okay, go ahead.
Good afternoon, Mayor, City Council, staff, and public. My name is Vanessa Perez, and I'm a budget analyst here at the City of Las Cruces. I'm here today to bring forth a resolution to accept various internal adjustments. Before starting the overview of the adjustments, I want to go over a couple of reminders. These adjustments are not meant to create new programs or initiatives. Instead, these adjustments are focused on updating available balances in our budget. Lastly, the following slides are only a summary of the adjustments that were presented. If you would need the full detail, please refer to your packets. Within the general fund, Public Works has requested a budget increase of $53,481, and this is to liquidate open CIP impact invoices. The fire department is increasing their revenues by $1.15 million, and this is to budget for ambulance service revenues. The police department's service agreement for School Resource Officer Program, or SRO, has been updated. They're requesting that both their revenues and expenditures are adjusted to include the new $29,500 increase. The fire department is also requesting to increase their revenues and expenditures by $189,000, and this is for Medicaid ambulance reporting. There is a separate resolution today that was brought forward by Virginia Varela from the Finance Department. The resolution number for this is 25-018. The overall budget impact on the general fund based on just the items on the screen is an increase in expenditures of about $272,000 and an increase in revenues of about $1.3 million. The Parks and Recreation Department is requesting a budget increase of about $115,000, and this is a carryover for vehicles that were purchased from fiscal year 24. Facilities has two requests, which would increase their budget of by about $313,000. One request is to liquidate drinking fountain replacement invoices, and the other one is to liquidate starting platforms invoices at the Aquatic Center. Both of these are carryovers from fiscal year 24. The fire department is rolling over about $4.4 million, and this is because they're expecting some vehicles to come in this fiscal year. The legal department requested to increase their budget by about $319,000, and this is to budget for workers' compensation insurance contributions. The next two slides are exclusively for utilities department requests. They requested $678,000 for an energy transition plan, $300,000 for utilities campus improvements in regards to gas, $73,000 for gas improvements on South Main Street, and $57,000 for water improvements on Cortez Drive. Again, this is related to utilities. They've requested a budget increase of about $71,000, and this is to pay for some vehicle surcharges. They had paid for these vehicles in fiscal year 24, but they received a little add-on from the agency. So they budgeted for the vehicles, they're just missing this surcharge amount. They've also requested $100,000 to upgrade water pumps, $500,000 to increase scale, to upgrade scales, excuse me, and $500,000 for the East Mesa wastewater treatment facility. With this, I'm going to pass it over to Luis Vela to review some vehicle acquisition report requests.
Good afternoon, Mayor, City Council, City staff. My name is Luis Vela, and I'm here to answer, I am your City Fleet Manager, and I'm here to answer any questions you might have on this minor adjustment. Good to go? No question? Also prepared. Thank you. Appreciate it. Have a good day.
I'm going to pass it over to Cynthia Campo to review some CIP adjustments.
Good afternoon, councilors, mayor, staff. I'm Cynthia Campo, CIP analyst, and I'm going to be going over some of the CIP amendments for this round. Most of these amendments are actually corresponding to a lot of the budget adjustments that were just brought to you by budget. The first 4 pages are actually all related to these adjustments. If you have any questions, let me know. All of these adjustments are just budget to actual adjustments, so we are just amending the budgets so to have the beginning balances of the projects be to match what the budget is. And then these are just CIP amendments. These were requested by Parks and Rec. They do not affect the budget itself. They are all through PIF, so we're just reducing some of the projects again, just to bring the budget to, budget to actuals. And then the last set of amendments, they are other CIP amendments, which are completed projects that have been closed, and then one of them just has a name change. And I stand here for questions.
Any questions by council? Councilor Matisse?
Thank you. Could you bring up, I believe, page 17, I think in the original document that we received, all the charts of the different movement of monies?
For CIP or for budget?
I think coming from the general fund.
Okay, that's me.
Do you have it on the?
Yes, you're referring to attachment A?
Yeah, I had a question on, okay. I think it was on page 17. And, yeah. Okay, I don't think you're finding it, but if you go through the ordinance, maybe I can explain it and you can explain why the adjustment was made. There was a $5 million, it was, I think, removed from Fund 4613. Are you familiar with that?
Yes.
Okay.
Mayor,
maybe you could just explain it to me.
Yes. Mayor, Councilor Matisse, this was a $5 million revenue in debt services for the fire department. It was incorrectly budgeted. They shouldn't have that budget in there at all. We're just removing it entirely.
And it wasn't 5,000 or 50, it was 5 million.
It was 5 million, yes,
okay.
That's correct.
I just was surprised over all the zeros.
I know.
Okay.
Yes.
And then, can someone answer why there is $110 million of carryover projects?
Mayor, Councilor Matisse, is this a specific page you're referring to, or are you referring to a total?
Well, I guess it would be all your carryover, probably from capital.
Okay.
Probably from capital outlay, right? the project, 110 million? Was I reading that right? I didn't put down the page, but, yeah, I did, page 10. It showed 110 million of carryover projects from the previous fiscal year. I mean, I was just wondering if it was due to more funds are needed to finish the project, delays in projects, staffing of projects, getting contractors, so,
Yes,
or
Mayor.
all the above.
Councilor Matisse. So our carryover projects are a mixture of things, and there it could be because well, first of all, we budget so early in the year that when we're doing the projections, just like we do with budget, we're just making an estimate of how much we think we're going to be carrying over to the next fiscal year for projects that still need to be completed in the next fiscal year. And so these amendments that we bring forward are to actually bring the project to the actual beginning balance, either because we spent less and now we need to bring that budget over so that we can continue the project and spend all the funds for the project. And then we also, so yeah, most of those carryover projects are due to that.
Okay, and on some of the items where you have a separate fund memo, where it's coming from, I noticed that some of them said non-departmental, non-subsection. What is that? Can you clarify that? You know, there was like 50,000, 300,000, 200,000, and then the memo just had non-department dash non-subsection. You know, whereas the others were very descriptive of where it came from, where it went, and who it was for.
Yes, Mayor, Councilor Matisse, that is because a lot of the ones that say what you're stating, the non-department or non-subsection, are actually transfers within our budget. We're not pinpointing a certain account, it's just reflecting a transfer. So those non-subsection or non-department are transfers. We're
Okay.
transferring funds from one account to the other, and the way that our system pulls those is as non-department or non-subsection. It just signals that they're a transfer within our budget. So it's not increasing or decreasing the bottom line of our budget, it's just a transfer. We're moving money from one pot to another.
And the others, the other memos are more descriptive, but this is a generalization, non-department.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, and then can someone explain the discretionary fund, what amount it starts with every fiscal year? Does it, the discretionary fund start with $1,500,000? I noticed there was, I forget the numbers, it was 300 and something thousand in there, and then 300,000 went to utilities, and it left a balance of 100,000. How is the discretionary fund designed, and how is it budgeted every year? So non-discretionary.
Mayor, Councilor Matisse, are you referring to the non-subsection lines that you were asking about?
No, it's actually called a contingency fund.
Mayor, Councilor Matisse, I'm going to defer that question to either Jacqueline or Leanne.
Okay. I think that's what it's called. I'm sorry I didn't write down the note, but I think it was called a contingency fund. And I just like to know if that contingency fund is budgeted at a certain amount at the beginning of the Leanne?
Mayor, Councilor Matisse, great question. So within the city manager's budget, he does have an object code for contingency. And so we do budget that for him. He receives every year about $250,000 for contingency, and that is for his discretion to spend. There is no particular fund. It's just within his budget, sir.
Oh, it's nice to know he has that.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Mayor, thank you.
Any other questions? Seeing none. Christine?
This is on the motion to approve Resolution 25-021. Councilor McClure?
Yes.
Councilor Matisse?
Yes.
Councilor Graham?
Yes.
Counselor Cran?
Yes.
Counselor Flores?
Yes.
Counselor Bencomo?
Yes.
Mayor?
Yes. Next is item 8.3, resolution number 25-022.
Move to approve.
Second, Graham.
Good afternoon, Mayor, City Councilors. My name is Donnie Procise. I'm the Purchasing Supervisor. I just wanted to take a moment to introduce one of the newest members of our purchasing team. This is Greg Gonzalez, who is one of our buyers, and he will be presenting the resolution on temporary employment services.
Good afternoon, Mayor, City Council members, and City staff. As Mr. Donnie Procise mentioned, my name is Greg Gonzalez. I'm a Buyer 1 with the Purchasing Main Section here in the Finance Department with the City of Las Cruces. Before you today is a resolution authorizing the city to approve contracts for temporary employment services. The City of Las Cruces has historically utilized these services to address temporary employment needs due to illnesses, backlogs, and vacancies. Valuable time is saved in securing these services to minimize negative impacts on service delivery and enables existing staff to be utilized in other capacities needed. It is advantageous for the city to have a list of pre-qualified temporary employment firms from which departments can select for their specific staffing requirements. All city departments, including our joint power agreement agencies, will be able to utilize these services provided by these firms on an as-needed basis. On March 22nd of this year, the city initiated solicitation requests for proposals for procurement number 23-24-047 for the purpose of pre-qualifying firms that could provide these services and enter into agreements with recommended firms. The solicitation was closed on April 23rd, 2024, with 15 proposals received and submitted to the Selection Advisory Committee on June 7th, 2024, for review and recommendation. After review and evaluation, SAC recommendation was to award the 10 highest ranked firms that responded to the request for proposal. Before you are the 10 awarded vendors recommended by the Selection Advisory Committee. Awarded firms on the left are from the Las Cruces, El Paso area. Awarded firms on the right are headquartered or based outside of the region. The contract terms are for 4 years for each individual contract with each individual vendor. Contracts are for a not to exceed amount of $2 million annually per vendor and are subject to budget appropriations. And before you are your options for this resolution, and I now stand for questions.
Councilor Flores.
Thank you. Thank you and welcome to our city. How many temp agencies does the city contract with? I mean, there's quite a lot.
Yes, Mayor, Councilor Flores. Currently, in the last contract, we'd had 5. The new proposal is carrying a total of 10.
And there was I think it was page 4 or 5. Yeah, there it is. Temporary employment services. The 4-year term is for the companies the city's contracting with?
That is correct.
Oh, okay. And then has there been a study or an assessment as to looking at how it plays out financially for the city to have temps as opposed to permanent employees? I don't know if you know that at this point.
To that effect, I do not have that answer for you. I can get that at a later date. We do have the specifics as far as the amount that each department is carrying and so forth. But as far as the comparison, I do not have that information, but I can get that for you.
Okay. And then my understanding of like Manpower and all those companies is that they're the ones that are responsible for say there's an injury on the job, like a workers' comp claim. they're the ones that have to defend it. Is that correct? I mean, are there benefits to having this because 4 years, I mean, some people don't even stay, I mean, a regular employee might not even stay 4 years. But isn't it just in terms, I mean, I'm not an HR person, but it just seems that you would want to have you would want to hire employees who are committed to, working up their retirement plan, having the benefits of dental and, medical and that sort of stuff.
Mayor?
So has there been an analysis on that? Do you know?
Mayor, Councilor Flores, as far as the first part of your question, the city's interview process is quite extensive. So some departments would defer if they do have backlogs or extensive positions that they need to fill. They would go with a temp service. The temp service would do all of the background checks, all of the drug screening. Now, the departments go in initially hiring the temp service personnel. They also look at possibly also hiring that person into a full-time person onto the city. Now, to the effects of your second part of the question where the analysis between those two, I don't have that information, but again, I can get that for you at a later date.
I think
Mayor, Councilor Flores, Donnie Procise for the record. Greg hit the nail on the head. We do frequently have temps put into positions while we're going through a hiring process for a permanent staff member. And like he said, we do occasionally do temp to hire because we know that it will take a while for people to be onboarded through the usual HR process. Sometimes we're able to get that person onboarded as a temp with one of the agencies we contract with until the HR process is completed and we're able to put them on the payroll. As far as the time involved, I think ideally, there are times when folks end up being in a temporary position for longer than is probably expected, or to the point where it's not really temporary anymore. But it really kind of depends on what's going on in that department with their hiring process or changes to staffing or programs. That I might have to defer to our HR director, Joe Richards, for a more comprehensive response to that question. But we do typically pay a bit higher in an hourly billing rate for a temporary staff member because, of course, the agencies do have their overhead. But when you look at the hourly salary of a city employee, and then you also add to that the cost of benefits and everything that goes along with it, it may not be that different at the end of the day, depending on the position we're talking about, but we would have to do a more rigorous analysis in order to give you that kind of information.
I think a rigorous analysis would be good. I'm looking at this as a person who has worked most of her life. At this point, I feel like I've worked all of my life. And I just don't see how it would really benefit a person to be a temp worker. And to work in an environment, I mean, side by someone who is a full-time worker. I just don't see the commitment, maybe aspiration to go up the ladder and then draw from the benefits. And it also, with all due respect, I mean, I'm part of the city as well, but it just seems that it's, with all due respect to temps, it's like cheap labor. I mean, is there a cost analysis insofar as what the city is saving vis-a-vis having temps? And you said you really don't have that.
Mayor, Councilor Flores, what I can tell you is that we're really contracting with these firms to have the services available on an as-needed basis. So in order to not have city services grind to a halt because of a vacancy, which could be for multiple reasons. It could be illness, it could be that that person chooses to leave our employment, or they might accept a position elsewhere in the city. So in order to not have everything grind to a halt, we're able to quickly bring somebody in that we can have just kind of keep things moving until we are able to more permanently replace those staff members. So we're not really using them with the intention, I would say, of having them in those positions for really extended periods of time. It's really just a stopgap until we are able to have a more permanent solution for that.
So
position.
what is the percentage of the outside workforce, the sort of these companies? Do you have a breakdown on that?
Yes, Mayor, Councilor Flores, we actually were looking at numbers last week in advance of this presentation, and as of last week, according to HR data, we had 113 temporary staff members on or in the system. They range anywhere from 1 to 48 people per department at the highest. I can give you the numbers per department if you like.
Well, we'd be here all day, I think. We have a lot of departments. But, well, I can't get into weeds because it might be a legal issue, but has there ever been a study, just an in-house study as to productivity and how temps measure up?
Mayor, Councilor Flores, I'm not sure if any sort of study like that has been done. I can defer to our HR director, Joe Richards, who might be able to speak to that.
Thank you.
Mayor, Councilors, Joe Richards, HR Director for the record. To answer your question, Councilor, no, there hasn't been a productivity study done with these types of employees as far as, how well they're performing and that type of thing. I think part of what we do is report back to the temp agencies. I think the supervisors generally keep in touch with them and let them know, how things are going with the employees. And this really just gives them an opportunity to have choice and where they're able to go. These firms charge different rates for different positions. So part of the answer to your question about, the cost involved, it really boils down to the position and the fees that they charge compared with what our salary would be. And of course, if you build benefits into that, that does, increase the cost.
Oh, so temps do get benefits?
No, ma'am, but if we were to hire them
Oh, excuse me.
Yes, ma'am. If we were to hire them into a regular position, they would, of course, as long as it's a full-time position, be afforded our benefits. So that would be an additional cost.
So, the temp position is 4 years. And have you kept a comparison as to non-temps and, regular employees as to how many stay on?
Mr. Mayor, Councilor.
Vis-a-vis the regular employee?
Yeah, I think the goal typically is to have them on a temporary basis. The 4-year term is our contract term with these agencies. So the individual employees don't necessarily stay with us for those 4 years. As Donnie and other staff have mentioned, it's really sort of a stopgap, if you will, until they can either hire or get the position through budget. Some of these temp agency employees are being utilized because we don't have the position in the budget.
I see, for a full-time position.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Ms. Richards, and thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, Mayor.
Anyone? Councilor Matee?
Just had a few questions. It used to be 5 companies previously. And was they guaranteed the $2 million a year?
Mr. Mayor,
I mean,
Councilor.
up to $2 million.
Yes, sir, it was 5 agencies. I'm not sure the amount.
Mayor, Councilor Matisse, Donnie Procise for the record. We actually contracted with 4 firms during the last RFP, but one of those firms, DM Dickinson, they sold their franchise back to the company that they had spun off from many years before. So they were succeeded by HireQuest LLC, doing business as Snelling, and they did not respond to this latest solicitation. So there were technically only 4 on the last one, but we will be awarding to 10 this time.
Okay, so on that approximate 8 million that was budgeted, how much it was remaining? How much of that did you expend?
Apologies, Mayor, Councilor Matias, I did not answer that part of your question. So initially, that set of contracts was brought forward to council with, I believe, an annual amount not to exceed $2.5 million. But in, I believe, the second year of that contract, we brought another resolution forward to remove the $2.5 million not to exceed amount in favor of an indefinite cost, indefinite quantity award. But over the course of that 4-year term, between all of the 5 agencies, we spent a total of $16.3 million across the entire 4-year period of those agreements. So in lieu of requesting indefinite cost, indefinite quantity, we are requesting an annual amount not to exceed $2 million per contracted firm.
Times 10?
Correct.
And so that's 80 million in 4 years?
Mayor,
Could be.
Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, Mayor, Councilor Matisse, it's an amount not to exceed $2 million per vendor per year, so it will still be based on the amounts that were brought to council for the budget that was approved. The individual departments, lines of business, programs, they will all be limited to the amount of budget that they have available for these services.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, well, Donnie, thank you. Greg, thank you. I just have one question. So we went from, like you said, technically it was 4, but to 10, and it's for 4 years. If there's, you had a list of local, and then you had a list of those that are outside the area. If a local company moves in, somebody moves in local and is a temporary service, could they be added within the 4 years, or would that take would they have to wait the 4 years, or can someone be added through a competitive process?
Mayor, once the contracts are awarded, we wouldn't really be able to add anybody new that didn't respond to the original RFP. However, I will say that our price and service agreements are not exclusive. So while we encourage all city staff to take advantage of existing price and service agreements, because a competitive process usually has been done that has resulted in those contracts, as long as folks are following the thresholds for our small purchases in the procurement code, they might be able to seek temporary employment services from a new company, as you described. They would just have to make sure that they were following all of our quoting thresholds, depending on how much they were going to be spending.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you, Donnie. And thank you. Welcome to the city, Greg. Christine?
This is on the motion to approve Resolution 25-022. Counselor McClure?
Yes.
Counselor Matisse?
No.
Counselor Graham?
Yes.
Counselor Cran?
Yes.
Counselor Flores?
Yes.
Counselor Bencomo?
Yes.
Mayor?
Yes. Next is item 8.4, resolution number 25-023.
Move to approve.
Second.
And you can begin, Ms. Varela.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Mayor, Councilor, City staff. My name is Virginia Varela. I'm the Buyer 2 for the Financial Services Department. And before you today is a resolution to approve a contract to procure pavement management software. The pavement management program of the Public Works Department is responsible for the management and maintenance of dedicated right-of-way. This includes preventative maintenance, scoring, potholing and patching, and utility patch repairs. The maintenance extends the life of our roadways and is essential for the safety of the public. Part of that maintenance is tracking the current status of all of our roadways, estimating the future condition of the roadways, and developing a maintenance plan for all of the right-of-ways. This is currently done utilizing 4 different separate software programs. The decentralization of data results in a cumbersome process of prioritizing and budgeting required maintenance and repair. A centralized pavement management software will better allow the pavement management program to effectively and efficiently identify, prioritize, perform maintenance management, and identify roadway improvements and dedicate budget to the preventative maintenance and roadway improvements within the corporate city limits. The Las Cruces Municipal Code authorizes the city to utilize contracts from other entities, which allows for efficient and cost-effective procurement of goods and services. The city of Mesa, Arizona entered into a contract for information technology solutions and services with SHI International Corp. For pavement management software installation and maintenance. The city is requesting to contract with SHI International Corp. in an amount not to exceed $187,595.49 plus GRT for the initial year in installation. There will be 3 additional options to renew at a cost of $107,846.73 for 3 annual renewals. The effective term for this initial contract is through February 28, 2025. So this will allow the city to purchase the software, have the software installed, and then allow us for our first initial subscription for this software. For future annual renewals, the city will acquire a new contract to piggyback off of through corporate organizations or cooperatives and or other governmental municipalities to be able to continue to use the software. So before you are your choices, and I stand for any questions.
Thank you. Any question? Councilor McClure.
I may have missed this, but I wanted to ask, is there a public portal that, say this goes online, that they can see where their street might be in terms of maintenance plan?
I will actually have to defer that to either Mr. David Cedillo or
Thank you, Virginia. Mayor, Councilor McClure, yes, the software does have the ability to have a public-facing portal, which will help residents or anyone throughout the city to actually take a look and see when the maintenance of those streets are coming up.
Thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem.
Thanks, David. While you're up here, thank you for the presentation. I'm just wondering if you can speak to the need for this, just like the context in which Public Works finds itself regarding pavement management, the challenges, and then what your hopes are.
Mayor Pro Tem Bencomo, so the purpose of, number 1, obtaining the software for this is, like Virginia stated, we're currently using 4 different types of software to piece together the maintenance of this program. So by consolidating all of those efforts, it's going to make staff more efficient. We'll be able to do further analysis within the software itself, which can also bring us to be able to provide more information during the budget process, where we're at, updating the PCIs as improvements are being done instead of waiting 5 years to get a report. So there's a lot of benefits, not only to staff and their efficiency, but also in us planning to be able to maximize the dollars that we do have through the approved budget.
Awesome. Thank you, David. And then just a clarifying question for the public on what you just said around PCIs and reports every 5 years. Can you just clarify that for folks listening?
Mayor Pro Tem, yes. So we as a department assigned to maintaining this asset, we have a company come in and do a survey of every paved roadway within the city limits. Now, that is done every 5 years. Based on that data that's collected, that is how the Pavement Condition Index, or the PCI, is calculated. That is put into the program, and that is what we use to actually schedule the maintenance that we have with our funding.
Thank you, David. I always appreciate learning about this and appreciate this work.
Thank you.
Councilor Flores?
Thank you. Thank you, Virginia. There is a Santa Claus. And thank you, Mr. Cedillo. My question is for you. So the way I understand it, it would be more efficient in terms of keeping our streets functioning as they should. You know, the going out there and assessing what the condition is and then doing the repairs or whatever. Is that part of this? Would that be a benefit?
Mayor, Councilor Flores, that is a portion of it.
Oh.
So yes, it would make our staff more efficient because they're spending less time working with multiple pieces of software to get the information into the system. Getting that information sooner and then planning those dollars out. Now again, we will do whatever we can based on these results from the software with the money that we actually get approved through budget. So we are still limited on what we can do based on the amount that is approved through.
But once you have all that information, you can pretty much project prospective, and then when budget comes around, you can use those figures. You know?
Yes, ma'am, you're correct.
Great. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, good. Christine?
This is on the motion to approve Resolution 25-023. Councilor McClure?
Yes.
Councilor Matisse?
Yes.
Councilor Graham?
Yes.
Councilor Cran?
Yes.
Councilor Flores?
Yes.
Councilor Bencomo?
Yes.
Mayor?
Yes. Next is item 8.5, resolution number 25-024, resolution authorizing a contract for airport consultant.
Move to approve. Graham?
Second, Corin.
And you can begin, Lisa.
Good afternoon, Mayor, councilors, and city staff. Lisa Padron, buyer for the purchasing section of finance. Before you is a resolution to authorize a contract for airport consultant for planning, administrative, and professional services. The tasks to be completed for the airport consultant would be include but are not limited to some airport planning services, technical writing services, and professional services on various airport projects. The request for proposal number 23-24-055 was issued on December 15th, 2023, with a due date of January 18th, 2024. 2 proposals were received and evaluated by the SAC committee on March 20th, 2024. The SAC recommended to award the contract to Du Bois & King of Randolph, Vermont for a contract term of 5 years. The contract award amount is not to exceed $500,000 annually, subject to approved budget appropriations. And with that, here are your standard council options, and I stand for questions.
Okay, thank you, Lisa. Any questions? Mayor Pro Tem?
Thank you. Thank you. I apologize if I missed this. The cost of this, is this coming out of the airport fund?
Mayor Pro Tem Bencomo, I would need to defer that to Andy Hume, the airport director.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem Bencomo. My name is Andy Hume, and I have the privilege of serving as your airport director. To answer your question, Mayor Pro Tem, the source of funding would be either airport funds, could be grant funding from New Mexico DOT, could be grant funding from the FAA, could be a wide variety of sources that we would seek for funding of these projects.
No, I apologize, Andy. I mean for the actual amount of this contract.
Yes.
That's what you're.
Yes, we would
Okay.
seek funding from a variety of sources. We would not just necessarily rely on funding from the airport funds directly.
Okay, so these monies are not confirmed yet. You don't have these.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I think I just asked Andy because I do have just some like concerns about the health of the airport, and I would love us if we discuss that, you know, in a work session soon. I'm just curious about long-term where we're going and how it's all working for all of us, and especially as we find ourselves in a conversation around tight budgets. And I do just want us to be very responsible when it comes to the airport. And so maybe that's a question for you both here, our city manager and mayor, but I think that's something I would really like to see in the near future. Thank you.
Councilor Matisse.
Yeah, Councilor Bencomo brought up a good point. When your strategic plan, when was it initiated? Do you have a 20-year, 15, 10? And should I get can I get a copy?
Sure, Mr. Mayor, Councilor Matisse. Right now, our airport master plan is under final review by the FAA. So we're anticipating that having their final approval here pretty much any day. And based on that, we're beginning a new strategic plan update for the airport.
And on the master plan, does it go out how many years?
Master planning for the airport goes out 20 years.
20 years. Okay. Thank you, Dave. Thank you.
Yep.
Councilor Flores.
Thank you, Mayor. And thank you, Andy. Good to see you.
Thank you.
Can you share with us what Du Bois and King has done for the airport? Because they do have a history, in my opinion, a very good history of producing what they deliver on their promises, so to speak.
Yes, absolutely. Mr. Mayor, Councilor Flores, we've had a relationship with Du Bois and King since 2019. They've provided services such as the passenger air service study, the original passenger air service study. They've also worked on projects like the current airport master plan, the airport security plan. Currently, they're working on the design for the reconstruction of runway 523. They're working on a sewer extension plan. Let's see, some of the projects that they'll be working on under this contract is the update to our DBE, our Disadvantaged Business Enterprise Program. We need to do an update to our wildlife hazard management program. Much like the Public Works project before us, we're going to be doing an update to our pavement management program. So it's a wide variety of services that they have done for us and they will be doing for us.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Hume. Thank you, Mayor.
You have another question?
I just wanted to ask, Andrew, how long have you been at the airport?
Mr. Mayor, Councilor Matisse, I'm in my 7th year out there.
Excellent job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew.
Okay, Christine.
This is on the motion to approve Resolution 25-024. Councilor McClure?
Yes.
Councilor Matisse?
Yes.
Councilor Graham?
Yes.
Councilor Cran?
Yes.
Councilor Flores?
Yes.
Councilor Bencomo?
Yes.
Mayor?
Yes. Next is item 8.6, Council Bill number 25-010, ordinance number 3081, an ordinance approving a zone change.
Move to approve, Graham.
Second, Corin.
Good afternoon, Mayor, Council. Adam Ochoa for Community Development for the record. Case you have before you is a proposed ordinance to approve a zone change for a property located at 3098 East University Avenue. It is located right at what would be the southeast intersection of Las Alturas Drive and University Avenue. This is what is the beginning area, what they're calling Aggie Uptown, if you will. The portion that we're looking at is a roughly 1.89 acre portion of an existing larger tract. It is currently zone A2, which is a rural agricultural zoning district from the 1981 zoning code, so it's been around a while, unfortunately. Property does front 2 arterial roadways. Showing here the zoning map, here as that larger kind of slender tract that's heading down Las Alturas. And the subject property that's looking to rezone is roughly right here. As you can see, it is surrounded by essentially everything that's commercial high-intensity uses and zoning, as well as PUD zoning designations that are allowing for office uses and so forth like that. Here is that property when it was under construction with what is existing there now. So the proposal is for a zone change to C3, which is commercial high-intensity. There is currently a developed, finalized gas station convenience store. Essentially what this would do is bring the property into compliance now, and C3 is the most compatible of our existing zoning designations for the property. Like I said, it will bring it into compliance with current code, get rid of that defunct zoning on the property itself. Additionally, the proposed zone change does align with Elevate Las Cruces comprehensive plan. Showing here just some site photos. When staff did their analysis, we did not identify any rural health, safety, or welfare issues. The proposed zoning will provide compatibility to the surrounding area. As you saw, that pink to the north and the east, it's the exact same zoning. It's definitely not out of character. Located adjacent to what are 2 mixed-use corridors, which is University and Telshore, as per Elevate Las Cruces comprehensive plan, and it is also within what is called a town center overlay. It is an overlay place type, also called out by Elevate Las Cruces. Again, that is at an intersection of what is a principal arterial, University, and a minor arterial, Las Alturas, where this type of zoning and proposed land uses are encouraged by our code. Notice was sent out to all surrounding properties within 500 feet as per code. Staff received 1 phone call in opposition, just didn't want to see additional development in the area for some reason. With that, though, the Plan and Zoning Commission did review the proposed zone change on May 28th of 2024. After reviewing the proposal, they did recommend approval by a vote of 4-1. Findings, again, will allow for the attraction and retention of businesses. Proposed zone change will bring the property in compliance with our current code. Located along arterial roadways this type of zoning is encouraged, and it's also based on staff's analysis compared to our Elevate Las Cruces comprehensive plan. With that, we have an owner's representative here if you have any questions, but these are their options, and I stand for questions.
Thank you, Adam. Mayor Pro Tem.
Thanks, Adam, as always. Are we doing this a little bit backwards? Or was the gas station allowed under the previous zoning code?
Mayor Pro Tem Bencomo, no, it was not. Under the previous zoning designation, all you could do there was farm and have a house, raise horses. The thing is, this is NMSU property,
Right.
so they did their thing first, if you will. Now we're here trying to bring it into compliance with our current codes, ma'am.
Can anybody do that?
Mayor Pro Tem, there's some weird things there because it's one entity telling another entity what to do, if you will. We have limited powers of what we could tell NMSU because of it being state land. So our zoning code, the reason this is it now is because the gas station itself contacted staff and was asking for all these documentations, including the statement of zoning, to sign off on their business registration. And well, they weren't following our rules, unfortunately. So the Maverick themselves, they actually initiated the zone change, I believe.
Okay. I mean, I'll obviously vote yes at this point. What do we do? I just have some serious concerns about the way this was, obviously not by you, Adam, by the entity that owns this. So on any of the land that's considered Aggie Uptown, is NMSU able to just develop it and then come back and ask for a zoning designation?
Mayor Pro Tem, the majority of what is Aggie Uptown is not in the city limits. If I direct you back to, you can see that red line there, that is actually the city limits right there. So this is really one of maybe a couple parcels of land that are in the city.
Okay, thank you. That clarifies that portion. I mean, Adam, I don't know if you're in contact with the person at NMSU in charge of this project, but perhaps there's a education piece that needs to happen here, given that you said there are maybe a couple other parcels. I just have some serious concerns with, listen, I'm totally about ask for forgiveness, permission later in some parts of my life, but I feel like this is not one of those. And so I think there should be some education, and I'm hoping you're able to engage in those conversations.
Yes, Mayor Pro Tem Bencomo, we actually do have a pretty decent relationship with them. This one just kind of slipped through the rocks.
Okay.
But typically, with the Pan Am Plaza, other property they own as well along University, they've come before us, not only for construction, but even before what you're part of the University Citizen Design Review Committee, for approval of things like that.
I'm part of that?
Oh, my apologies, no.
Oh, gosh. I was like, I haven't been to those meetings, so I hope
my apologies. Council Matisse is actually part of that. My apologies.
Okay, thank you, Adam. I appreciate your responses.
Sure thing.
Councilor Graham?
My question was addressed, thanks.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilor Matisse?
Before I entered the city council position, there was something that came up last year about annexation from a request from the university. Was this any part of this land, or was it a different part of land that was brought up by the real estate? I think it was a real estate person with NMSU.
Mr. Mayor, Councilor Matisse, this is not part of it. This is what's directly east of it, of that red line that I showed you, what is considered Aggie Uptown in the redevelopment, the golf course and so forth, like a much larger area, sir. But this is not part of it. It is already in the city, though.
And the area in question is how many acres are they proposed? I think I haven't seen any more information on that, but what was the amount of acreage?
Mr. Mayor, Councilor Matisse, I do not know the exact size of what they're looking to annex into the city, sir. It was rather large, though. I can't tell you that, that's for sure.
Okay, thank you. And if there's any information in the past that you could share with me, I'd appreciate it on that topic.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
No other questions? Any members of the public that would like to speak on this? Okay. Seeing none. Christine?
This is on the motion to approve ordinance 3081. Councilor McClure?
Yes.
Councilor Matisse?
Yes.
Councilor Graham?
Yes.
Councilor Cran?
Yes.
Councilor Flores?
Yes.
Councilor Bencomo?
Yes.
Mayor?
Yes. Next on the agenda, we have board appointments. We have two. I'll do each one individually. We'll need a motion and a second. The first one is Brian Morrow to the Veterans Advisory Board. That's a new appointment.
Move to approve, Corin.
Second, Bencomo.
This is on the motion to appoint Brian Morrow to the Veterans Advisory Board. Councilor McClure?
Yes.
Councilor Matisse?
Yes.
Councilor Graham?
Yes.
Councilor Cran?
Yes.
Councilor Flores?
Yes.
Councilor Bencomo?
Yes.
Mayor?
Yes. The next one is Victor Eres to the Veterans Advisory Board. That's a reappointment.
Move to approve, Graham.
Second.
This is on the motion to reappoint Victor Edes to the Veterans Advisory Board. Councilor McClure?
Yes.
Councilor Matisse?
Yes.
Councilor Graham?
Yes.
Councilor Cran?
Yes.
Councilor Flores?
Yes.
Councilor Bencomo?
Yes.
Mayor?
Yes. Next is a notice of proposed ordinances. We have 3 to bring forward. There will be no public discussion, and council may ask staff for clarification on the proposed ordinance. The first one is Council Bill number 25-011, ordinance number 3082, an ordinance authorizing repayment to the New Mexico Economic Development Department for the Local Economic Development Act LEDA project to Artico Cold Storage, New Mexico, in the amount of $600,000 for the termination of the project participation agreement and the match requirement of $281,400.
Bring it forward.
The next one is Council Bill number 25-012, ordinance number 3083, an ordinance approving a zone change from C2 to R1 AM for a property encompassing approximately 0.99 acres and located at 6175 Lemuel Road, submitted by Supreme Investments LLC representative.
Bring it forward.
The next one is Council number 25-013, ordinance number 3084, an ordinance repealing and replacing Chapter 2, Article 3, Division 6, Accountability, IN Government of the Las Cruces Municipal Code, 1997, as amended.
Bring it forward.
Next, we have City Council member board reports and comments. I'll start with Councilor McClure.
Thank you, Mayor. All I wanted to say was last Friday I went on a ride along with Meals on Wheels, and I just wanted to express my appreciation for letting them tag along and getting to see how other departments that we don't usually associate with caretaking in our city reaches out to some of our more vulnerable populations, and just how glad they were to see Valerie that day, and getting a sense of what that service means to our public was just really, really heartwarming, and I really appreciated it. So thank you.
Councilor Matisse.
Thank you, Mayor. I just had a few things. I just want to thank the departments, Chief Story, and things that are happening. I'm getting a lot of positive comments. There have been tents removed from a park where children were afraid to go into the park. It looks like it's been cleaned out and a lot safer. There has been needles picked up on Oak Street. And again, I don't know who's responsible for getting it done, but it looks like that area was cleaned up, and then the neighbors called me and said thank you. So there's quite a lot of good things going on. I'd also like to, if Larry's not here, but if we could follow up on the blight on 1710 Espina. I see where the building has been repurchased, and I'd like to know when that will be removed. It's a condemned, burnt down building. So thank you, Larry, for your efforts on that. And then I'd just like to read a letter into the record. It says, Mr. Matisse, I was homeless many, many years ago in Arizona. They are a diverse group. There are some who can't be helped, just want to panhandle and won't go to the shelters and won't take the aid because there's rules there. Some people with a cardboard sign are scammers, not homeless. People with shopping carts usually have mental illnesses, need to be helped. People with dogs don't like to follow the rules in the shelters, and they are also unstable. Some, like me, just had no job, lost my job, and ran out of money. The people who want and need help need a place to live and help finding work, counseling, etc., until they can afford an apartment and have some money to be independent. The public should be advised not to donate to panhandlers. They should be told about other aid available and relay it to the homeless. They have a good communication network. There should be ads on TV and radio with information about what's available in the city of Las Cruces for the homeless or the unhoused. Also, in watching, your volume is too low at your meetings when I use my computer. Thank you, Ben. Thank you, Mayor.
Councilor Grant.
Yes, thank you. Just a quick shout out to County Animal Control Officer Duran. Got to interact when I found a couple of dogs while on a bike ride, and she really went above and beyond to find her way out to me, because the first question they said is, "What's the nearest intersection?" And I was like, about 4 miles away. So we talked each other through various county roads and trails, and she showed up. Luckily, both dogs were chipped, so shout out to keep getting those dogs chipped, keep those chips updated. But I just wanted to acknowledge her really going above and beyond to find her way out to me in the middle of the desert. Thank you.
Thanks. Councilor Corain.
Thank you. I wanted to give a few quick shout outs to the staff and Department of Workforce Solutions that showed up to the Jen Green event last week. There were a number of staff folks there, Lisa from Sustainability, Kathy from who does all of our landscape architecture, as well as a bunch of folks from Workforce Solutions working with yes, Kathy Matthews, sorry. There to hear about the sort of climate change in our future, and Workforce Solutions was working with all the young people that showed up to that event, which were many. It was standing room only at NMSU, and we heard a lot about sort of a lot of the incentives available for electrification and ways that the state and the city and NMSU are supporting the sort of shift to non-fossil future. So that was a really cool event. So thanks to the organizers, the staff that participated and engaged, and the partners that also showed up to that. And then I also wanted to give a quick shout out to the Office of the Superintendent of Insurance. And I think, I don't know if Mayor Pro Tem Bencomo might be mentioning some of this as well, but they came to town and gave an open forum for folks to share about healthcare, the situation of healthcare that is in New Mexico, including the influence of private equity funded institutions, which we have a number of. Something like 17% of all healthcare institutions in New Mexico are private equity backed, and we have a few here in Las Cruces. They're really looking at state legislative priorities in terms of making sure that communities don't get left behind as profit-driven healthcare comes in and out of a community, and sort of how to influence that through state-level regulation. So thanks to Senator Duhigg and Representative Sapansky, who joined us also during the day for a meeting to hear from some providers from the community, and their continued work, and we can look for that in the upcoming legislative session. So that's something that affects something that comes up here a lot in our community. So I wanted to give a shout out to the OSI for including us and giving us some really good food for thought, I think, as a city. And that's it. Thanks.
Thank you. Councilor Flores, you good? Mayor Pro Tem.
Thanks, Mayor. Thanks, everyone. Just a couple thoughts. I did want to address the Calle del Encanto neighborhood situation. I actually pulled up an email from 2021 between myself, David Cedillo, and back then ACM, Eric Enriquez, actually, because I have been advocating for these two streets to be invested in. They both, Calle del Sol and Calle del Encanto, absolutely need full reconstruction and are on the CIP list. They were also awarded some of the ARPA funding, and some of those roads were reconstructed fully, but they also absolutely need storm drain. So it's not a matter of caring. We care very deeply, actually. It's a matter of money. And then just recently, David Cedillo with Public Works let me know that they're looking for funding. They had 3 bids for some of this work, and the lowest bid that came in was still over budget by $1.3 million. And so, these are the conversations that are worth exploring when we're talking about GRT. These aren't, as someone said, Pandora's box items. These are basic government services and public safety services that we need to be investing in, that our community obviously is in huge need of. And so I did just want to note that these projects are definitely on the top of mind for myself, for Mayor, for our city staff. I want to let you all know that this week I am a new intern is starting with us from the NMSU School of Social Work, Andres Uribe. He is a senior at the School of Social Work and will be interning with us here. He's also my constituent, so that's really cool. But he is working with Katrina. Katrina, I don't know where you went. Thank you so much for helping and onboard him. We're doing something a little bit different this year. He'll be really under Katrina with some of my supervision, given that I have MSW, but he's also available to work with any of you if you need any support with constituent services or any support, additional support for research from Sergio. He just really wants to learn the function of government and how it impacts people's lives. And so I'm really excited to have him on board. I did want to note that in the last 2 weeks, since the ordinances regarding shopping carts and others were approved, I worked with Councilor Corrin and Community of Hope, given the incident that happened the day after, to engage our community in some fundraising efforts and meet the burden that was placed on Community of Hope much sooner than we would have hoped. In 2 weeks, I do want to report that we raised about $4,000. About 20 wagons were donated and delivered to Community of Hope, and quite a few of you donated a ton of your used luggage. And so for that, I just want to say thank you. I think community care is real policy work, and community care is something that we should be investing in even more. The last thing I want to add, which I wasn't sure if I was going to, but given that I've received multiple emails on, and I've been told that there has been multiple official complaints made about me to the Inspector General and to the City Attorney. I did just want to address this today, and then we'll no longer be addressing it. But to the folks, especially the men that are asking the mayor, the city manager, the Inspector General, and our City Attorney, for men to dress code me, a woman of color, is weird behavior. And I just wanted to say that. I think it's weird, and that's where I will leave it. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. I just wanted to mention that last week we were in Clovis. We attended the New Mexico Municipal League Conference. Myself, Councilor McClure, City Manager, Assistant City Managers, Sonia and JC, also Chris Favor, Christine was there, and Steve from Utilities. I don't know his last name, just know Bettis. I just know he's the fastest runner at the fun run. And no, it was good. It's good to get together to attend the conference. We looked at some resolutions. We looked at some policies, IPRA requests. You get together with your cohorts in the state that are all facing the same things, and we're trying to come up with solutions, whether it's homelessness, whether it's mental illness, panhandling, all those issues are coming up. So I'm happy that we were there to represent Las Cruces well, show a good representation. And Ruidoso will have it next year, and then the following year we'll be here in Las Cruces. So we hope to really be gracious hosts and outdo them. Clovis did a tremendous job. I mean, it was a great welcoming. They did a lot. It was fun, and Las Cruces will do a lot better, I know. So just wanted to share that and throwing it out there now. So that's all I had. I'll turn it over to the city manager.
Thank you, Mayor Enriquez, Mayor Pro Tem Bencomo, and city councilors, Ikani Tamopao, city manager, and Mayor. Yes, duly noted, our staff, we're very competitive, and so we look forward to the opportunity to show Las Cruces very well and how we do things here in 2 years. So looking forward to that. Just a few announcements, and we'll have everyone on their way. We have economic development. Mark your calendars. The El Paseo South Solano MRA has a community workshop kickoff on Monday, September 9th, and community open house on September 11th. More details to come. For transit, City of Las Cruces Transit will introduce its first 5 fully battery electric buses into regular service tomorrow on August 20th, 9:30. Intermodal will have a little ribbon cutting and have Mayor Councilor Coran speaking, along with the company BYD from California, who manufacturers, the EV buses. So should be good, should be a fun little turnout tomorrow morning. Parks and Recreation, the summer community concert will be held at 6 p.m. Saturday, August 24th at Plaza de las Cruces in downtown. The concert is a free family event featuring 45, one of New Mexico's top groups since 1991, which will be featuring along with Angelica Padilla and Illusion Band. For tourism, Baila Las Cruces, free dance lessons this Thursday at the Plaza starting at 7 p.m. This is where they'll have bachata, cumbia, merengue, salsa at 7 p.m. And there will be food trucks and family games, and we appreciate Visit Las Cruces. Rochelle and her team doing a fantastic job with that. For communication, we have NATOA Government Programming Awards. Finalist is the communications team for 5 categories and 3 honorable mentions. Kudos to the communications team, additionally to Parks, LCPD, Quality of Life for the content featured. Additionally, communication staff let us know that the promotional video was developed for Quality of Life's Treasure Hunt campaign is a finalist in the 2024 Savvy Awards competition and our candidate for one of 3 awards, Savvy, Silver Circle, and Award of Excellence. The awards are announced on September 5th, so stay tuned. This was a fun campaign for quality of life, developed with assistance along with communications and a contract with local advertising company Wilson Binkley. For the fire department, members from LCFD just returned from the F 2024 Fire Rescue International Conference. This is a conference, one of the largest conference for chief officer, and is hosted by the International Association of Fire Chiefs. Attending members include current chief officers DC Heck, DC Daniels, BC Haver, Dominique Sosi, Michael Landavazo, Matt Hiles, LT Grandos, driver operator Francis Tejas, and our LCSW Allison Stoner. BC Matt Hiles, LCSW Allison Stoner, and Fire Chief Smith presented on the light program during this conference. And the last announcement for fire is LCFD begins public input on the development of the department's master plan. Staff from the fire department will be developing a master plan this fiscal year and have invited the public to participate through in-person meetings and online survey. City Council will be asked to add their voices to the plan through work session later this fall. Public will have multiple opportunities this month to participate. August 8th at 3 p.m., which passed. But wait, there's more. It's August 19th. At August 21st at the Brannigan Library. That's the next one coming up, August 21st. All right, 2 more announcements, and I promise I'll let you go. In conjunction, this is from Housing, in conjunction with the Office Comptroller of the Currency, the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, and the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, the City of Las Cruces will co-host an interagency forum supporting affordable housing in El Paso, Las Cruces, and surrounding areas on September 18, 2024, in El Paso at the Center of Civic Engagement Blue Flame Building. It is open to local governments, area housing authorities, bankers, community organizations, and developers. The event aims to provide an overview of affordable housing needs and challenges and offer insights into how to effectively use resources and collaboration strategies and improve access to both home ownership and rental housing development. There is no fee to participate, but registration is required. And last announcement, just wanted to share that on this is something that is posted on the LCPD Facebook page, but on August 6, 2024, for your awareness, the Las Cruces Police Department was informed of a community member's belongings that were allegedly left on the ground when a local business reclaimed his shopping cart. This incident was shared to social media and received considerable attention. A lot of inaccurate information was shared about this incident on social media, which again can be found on the LCPD Facebook page if you're interested. We have learned more, and for transparency's sake, have shared security footage of that event on the LCPD Facebook page with full details. We would like to remind everyone to not reclaim carts that are being used by others without first contacting police. Information about this ordinance is posted on our city website. It includes specific ordinance language and also required permits for businesses. Thank you.
Thank you, City Manager, and thank you all for being here today. Look for a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Second by Flores.
This is on the motion to adjourn the meeting. Counselor McClure?
Yes.
Counselor Matisse? Counselor Graham?
Yes.
Counselor Cran?
Yes.
Counselor Flores?
Yes.
Counselor Bencomo? Yes. Mayor?
Yes.